In the previous lectures, I have discussed in detail the concepts of probability, various rules for evaluation of the probability, the concept of independence, random variables, discrete distributions, and binomial distribution. In this lecture, I will solve various problems which are asked frequently in various entrance examinations. For example, engineering entrance examinations or examinations of some other universities, etc. This will cover almost all the topics that we have done till now. I will again advise the students, please revise your concepts of permutations and combinations, because in counting many times in the probability problems we use these concepts. A 4-digit number is chosen at random find the probability that there are exactly 2 zeros in that number. One may wonder that whether these problems are for academic interest only or whether this will have any practical use also. So, some of you might have heard the name of codes or cryptography, etc. So, in that, to design the codes or to break the code, this kind of problems are faced, and therefore, calculating probabilities of various possibilities is certainly one of the problems there. Okay, so if we have to choose a 4-digit number, what is the total number of such numbers? So, the total number of 4-digit numbers in the first place, we can have any number between 1 to 9. So, there are total 9 possibilities, and in the second, third and fourth place 0 can also be there. So, total 10 possibilities at each place. So, that is total 9,000 such cases are there. Now, if there have to be 2 zeros in that number, if we have to get 2 zeros, then let us choose the places. First place, numbers 1 to 9. So, you can have 9 such possibilities, and in another place you can have numbers 1 to 9. So, 9 such cases are there. 2 places we are fixing as 0. So, there is no choice there. However, the first place cannot be 0. Out of the remaining 2 places, remaining 3 places, 2 places are zeros. So, those places can be determined in 3 C2 ways. The 2 places where 0 can be placed can be chosen in 3 C2, that is 3 ways. Okay, so we have counted the possibility of having a 4-digit number in which 2 zeros are there. So, the total number of ways is total number of favorable cases. Let us write it here. It will be 9 into 9 into 3. So, the probability that number has 2 zeros, the favorable number of cases is 9 into 9 into 3 and the total number of cases is 9000. So, after simplification it becomes simply 27 by 1000 or you can say 0.027. Let us take another problem in which the set theoretic notations are used. Let E and F be independent and probability of E plus probability of F is equal to 1. Also, let probability of E intersection F be equal to 2 by 9 and it is given that probability of E is greater than probability of F. Then you have to find probability of E. So, let us assume probability of E is equal to say P. Now, it is given that probability of E plus probability of F is equal to 1. Then this implies that probability of F will become equal to 1 minus P. Now, probability of E intersection F, because E and F are independent, this becomes probability of E into probability of F. So, that is equal to P into 1 minus P, that is 2 by 9. As you can see, this is simply a quadratic equation. So, P can be 1 by 3 or 2 by 3, because for these two values only this equation will be satisfied. Now, if I choose P to be 1 by 3, then probability of F will become 2 by 3, but it is given that probability of E is greater than probability of F. So, we will choose probability of E to be 2 by 3, because in that case probability of F will become 1 by 3. In this problem, I have used the concept of independence of events and a direct solution of the system of a nonlinear equation. Let me give another example in which the set theoretic probabilities are used. Let E and F be any two events with 0 less than probability of E less than 1 and 0 less than probability of F less than 1. And also it is given that probability of E is less than probability of E given F. That is, the conditional probability of E given F is more than probability of E. And under these conditions, we want to prove certain statements. Probability of F is less than probability of F given E. Probability of E is greater than probability of E given F complement. Probability of F is greater than probability of F given E complement. Now, it is given that probability of E is less than probability of E given F. That is the condition given there. If we simplify this condition and apply the definition of conditional probability, probability of E given F is probability of E intersection F divided by probability of F. So, this means probability of E intersection F is greater than probability of E into probability of F. Now, this you can write as probability of E intersection F divided by probability of E greater than probability of F. Now, this is nothing but probability of F given E greater than probability of F. So, this is proving the statement 1. In the statement 1, we were supposed to prove probability of f is less than probability of f given E, which is established here. Now, let us take the second one. If we use this equation, let me call it 1, we can consider probability of f minus probability of E intersection f. It will become less than probability of f minus probability of E into probability of f. So, this means the left hand side becomes probability of f intersection E complement, and the right hand side becomes probability of f 1 minus probability of E. So, this is equivalent to a statement that probability of f intersection E complement is less than probability of f into probability of E complement. So, this if you write, it becomes probability of f intersection E complement divided by probability of E complement less than probability of f. So, this statement is equivalent to probability of f given E complement is less than probability of f. So, this is the statement number 3, probability of f is greater than probability of f given E complement. So, what we have done? We have used the given condition, that is probability of E is less than probability E given f, which we simplified to probability of E intersection f greater than probability into probability f. In this, I did a little bit of manipulation on both the sides. I did PF minus, so the inequality gets reversed. After simplification of this, we get the required result. So, actually we have proved the third one here. Let us look at the second one. Again, to prove the second one, I will use this 1. Again, from 1, if we consider probability of E minus probability of E intersection f, then that is less than probability of E minus probability of E into probability of f. So, that means probability of E intersection f complement less than probability of E into 1 minus probability of f. So, that is implying that probability of E intersection f complement is less than probability of E into probability of f complement. That means probability of E intersection f complement divided by probability of f complement is less than probability of E, which is equivalent to saying probability of E given f complement is less than probability of E, which was the statement to be proved in 2, that is probability of E greater than probability of E given f complement. So, we have established that statement here. Once again, in this example, we have used the concept of conditional probability. So, we have actually applied the definition of conditional probability. Then we have actually used the addition rule at 2 places. For example, probability of E intersection f plus probability of f intersection E complement is equal to probability of f, that is used here. Similarly, in this I have used probability of E intersection f plus probability of E intersection f complement is equal to probability of E. So, this is the addition rule. If you make the diagram like this, I have 2 sets E and f here, then E intersection f complement will be this and E intersection f will be this. So, the union of this is E. Similarly, if I consider f intersection E complement, then that is this portion, f intersection is this. So, if I take the union of the 2, I will get f. let me give one example in which some sort of geometric argument is used. So, 2 points are chosen at random on a line segment of length 9 centimeter. So, there is a line segment. Find the probability that the distance between these 2 points is less than 3 centimeter. Now, let us look at this geometrically. So, there is a line segment of 9 centimeter. We choose x and y here, okay, and it can be here also, like x can be here, y can be here, x can be here, y. That means x can be less than y, x can be greater than y, but we want this distance to be less than 3 centimeter. So, a better way of looking at it can be, we can plot it in a 2-dimensional plane, and suppose this is x axis, this is y axis, and we consider a square of size 9. That means, on this side you have 9, 9 on this side also, and this is the line. So, we want x minus y to be less than 3 or y minus x to be less than 3. So, if we consider these two lines here, that is x minus y is equal to 3, this is the line x minus y is equal to 3, and we consider another line x minus y is equal to minus 3. If you want, you can just check the condition. If y is equal to 0, x equal to 3, if you consider x is equal to 0, then y is equal to minus 3. So, if you join the points and you draw it, you will get this. Similarly, on this side, if you say, if x is equal to 0, y is equal to 3, if y is equal to 0, x equal to minus 3. So, this is the line that you get here. So, actually we are considering x y in the 2-dimensional plane here. We can consider the point x y in a square in a 2-dimensional plane. So, this entire area is 9 into 9, that is 81 square centimeter, and the shaded area is the required area. The required probability is equal to area of the shaded region divided by total area. This can be done in a easier way also, like you can have this right angle triangle. So, the area of this will be 6 into 6 by 2, that is 18, and the same thing here. So, 18 plus 18, 36. So, 18 1 minus 36 divided by 81, that is equal to 5 by 9. So, this is an application where we are using direct geometric argument, although one can use a certain bivariate distribution and use a little bit of advanced probability theory, but here I am showing that by a simple geometric argument we can get the required probability here. Let u1 and u2 be 2 ons such that U1 contains 3 white and 2 red balls, and U2 contains only 1 white ball. A fair coin is tossed. If head appears, then 1 ball is drawn at random from U1 and put in U2. However, if tail appears, then 2 balls are drawn at random from U1 and put into U2. Now, 1 ball is drawn from U2 at random. That means, actually U2 may have either 2 balls or it may have 3 balls. From that we are selecting 1 ball at random. What is the probability that the ball drawn from U2 is white? Given that the ball drawn from U2 is white, what is the probability that head appeared on the coin? This is one of the problems which is asked in one of the earlier engineering entrance examinations. Let us look at the solution in full. So, I am using the set theoretic probability here. Corresponding to each event, we will define a set. So, let A denote the event that ball from U2 is white. Let B1 be the event that there is head on the coin, and B2 be the event that there is tail on the coin. So, coin we are assuming fair. So, the probabilities of B1 and probability of B2 will be equal to half. Now, what is the probability of say A given B1? So, A given B1 means if head comes, then we are drawing 1 ball from U1 and putting into U2. Now, that ball can be a white ball or that ball can be a red ball. Depending upon that, we are asking what is the probability of drawing a white ball from the on U2. So, let us write this event properly. White ball is drawn from U2 given that white ball is drawn from U1 into probability that white ball is drawn from U1 plus probability that white ball is drawn from U2 given that red ball is drawn from U1 into probability that red ball is drawn from U1. So, what we have done, we have applied the theorem of total probability. When we are drawing a ball from U1, now U1 contains 3 white and 2 red balls. So, the ball drawn can be white or it can be red. If the ball drawn is white, then on U1 will have, on U2 will have both the white balls. So, the probability of drawing a white ball will become simply 1. But what is the probability that a white ball is drawn from U1? It will become simply 3 by 5, because there are total 5 balls in U1, out of which 3 are white. So, the probability will become 3 by 5. If a red ball is drawn and put into U2, then the probability of drawing a white ball will become half, because on 2 then we will have 1 white and 1 red ball, and the probability that a red ball is drawn from U1 will be 2 by 5. So, this is nothing but 4 by 5. Similarly, let us calculate probability of A given B2. Probability of A given B2, that is probability of white ball is drawn from U2 given that, now in the, when a tail is there, 2 balls are drawn from U1 and put it into U2. So, both can be white, one can be white, one can be red, or both can be red. So, let us look at all the possibilities again by applying theorem of total probability. So, 2 white balls are drawn from U1 into probability that 2 white balls are drawn from U1 plus probability that white ball is drawn from U2 given that 1 white and 1 red ball is drawn from U1 into probability that 1 white and 1 red ball is drawn from U1 plus probability that white ball is drawn from U2 given that 2 red balls are drawn from U1 into probability that 2 red balls are drawn from U1. Let me repeat the sentence here. We have applied the theorem of total probability. B2 means that a tail was obtained when a coin was tossed. If a tail is obtained, then we are drawing 2 balls from on U1 and putting into U2. So, we are looking at 3 possibilities. Both the balls from U1 can be white, 1 ball can be white or 1 can be red, or both balls can be red. So, we have just applied the theorem of total probability for describing the probability of white ball is drawn from urn U2 given that a tail is obtained. So, now we completely describe this by looking at these possibilities. If two white balls are drawn from U1, then urn U2 will have all the white balls. So, the probability of drawing a white ball will be simply 1. However, what is the probability of drawing two white balls from urn U1? Because there are 3 white balls, so 3 C2 divided by total 5 are there, 5 C2 plus. In the case one white and one red is drawn from U1 and put into U2, then U2 will have 2 white and 1 red. So, drawing a white ball, the probability will become 2 by 3, and the probability of this possibility will be 3 C1, 2 C1 divided by 5 C2 plus the next one is 2 red balls are drawn from U1 and put into U2. Then in U2 there is 1 white and 2 red balls. So, the probability of drawing 1 white ball will become 1 by 3, and the probability of this choice will be 2 C2 divided by 5 C2. Now, these expressions one can easily simplify. 3 C2 is 3, 5 C2 is 10, 3 C1 is 3, 2 C1 is 1, 2 C2 is 1, 2 C2 is 2. So, after simplification this value becomes 11 by 15. Now, you see we are asked to calculate probability that the ball drawn from U2 is white. This is the event A. Now, we have calculated probability of A given B1 and probability of A given B2. So, we apply again the theorem of total probability. Probability of A is equal to probability of A given B1 into probability of B1 plus probability of A given B2 into probability of B2, that is 4 by 5 into half plus 11 by 15 into half. So, that is equal to 23 by 30. So, the probability of drawing a white ball from urn U2 is 23 by 30. Now, we are asked to calculate the probability that if the ball drawn from U2 is white, what is the probability that head appear on the coin? That is the probability of B1 given A. So, we have to use the Bayes theorem here to find probability of B1 given A. We use Bayes theorem. So, probability of B1 given A, that is equal to probability of A given B1 into probability of B1 divided by probability of A given B1 into probability of B1 plus probability of A given B2 into probability of B2. So, if we substitute all the values here, that is 4 by 5 into 1 by 2 divided by 23 by 30, that is equal to 12 by 23. Again, let me tell you, we have used the concept of the theorem of total probability 3 times in this problem. Firstly, to calculate the probability of drawing a white ball from urn U2 when a head is observed. So, here there were 2 possibilities, that there can be a white ball from urn U1 which is put into U2, or there can be a red ball from U1 which is put into U2. In the second case, to calculate the probability of A, that is white ball is drawn from urn U2 when a tail is observed, then there are 3 cases, because in that case we are drawing 2 balls from urn U1. So, both can be white, or one can be white, one can be red, or both can be red. So, depending upon this, we have calculated various probabilities. In the second part of this, we have used the Bayes theorem here. Let me solve another problem which is of similar type appearing in an entrance examination. There are n urns numbered 1 to n, each containing n plus 1 balls. Urn I contains I white balls and n plus 1 minus I red balls. I is equal to 1 to n. An urn is selected and a ball is drawn from it. Let ui denote the event that urn I is selected and let w be the event that a white ball is drawn from the selected urn. Further, suppose that E denotes the event that an even numbered urn is selected. Let probability of ui be proportional to I for I is equal to 1 to n. Then you have to find limit of probability w as n tends to infinity. In the second case, if probability of ui is constant for I is equal to 1 to n, where c is a constant, find probability of un given w. Third, if probability of ui is equal to 1 by n for I is equal to 1 to n and n is an even positive integer, find probability of w given E. So, let me just repeat the problem once again. There are n urns which we identify as 1 to n. So, some numbering is done there. Each of them has n plus 1 balls. In the ith urn there are I white and n plus 1 minus I red balls. Now, one urn is selected at random and a ball is drawn from it. Now, we are identifying certain events. So, ui is the event that urn I is selected and w is the event that a white ball is drawn from the selected urn, and E is the event that an even numbered urn is selected. Based on this, we are asking some problems. For example, if probability of ui is proportional to I, then what is probability of w? Find the limit as n tends to infinity. Similarly, if probability of ui is constant, then find probability of un given w, and in another one find probability of w given e. So, let us look at the solution of this. If probability of ui is proportional to I, then we can write probability of ui is equal to ki for I is equal to 1 to n. Now, the sum of the all probabilities must be equal to 1, because one of the ends has to be chosen. So, it gives you k sigma I is equal to 1 to n. Now, that is equal to k times n into n plus 1 by 2, that is equal to 1. So, k becomes 2 divided by n into n plus 1. So, probability of ui is equal to 2i divided by n into n plus 1 for I is equal to 1 to n. That means, the urn u1, the first urn is selected with probability 2 divided by n into n plus 1. The urn 2 is selected with the probability 4 by n into n plus 1. The urn n is selected with the probability 2 divided by n plus 1. So, the question that is posed here is, what is the probability of w, that is a white ball is drawn from the selected urn. So, we can apply the theorem of total probability, that will give probability of w is equal to sigma probability of w given ui into probability of ui I is equal to 1 to n. So, that is equal to, in the ith urn there are I white balls. So, the probability of choosing a white ball from the ith urn is I divided by n plus 1, and probability of ui we have just now calculated, it is 2i divided by n into n plus 1, I is equal to 1 to n. So, this you can see, it is 2 divided by n into n plus 1 square summation I square I is equal to 1 to n. That is the sum of squares of first n positive integers. The formula is known, that is n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. So, if we apply that, we get 2n into n plus 1 square into n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. So, we can easily simplify this, it is equal to twice 2n plus 1 divided by 6 into n plus 1. Because these terms n cancels out, n plus 1 cancels out. So, we get this. So, if I take the limit of this as n tends to infinity, you will get simply 2 into 2 by 6, that is equal to 2 by 3. As n tends to infinity, 1 by n goes to 0. So, if you divide by n here, you get 2 plus 1 by n, and here you get 1 plus 1 by n. So, the limit is 2 into 2 by 6, that is 2 by 3. In the second part, probability of ui is equal to constant. So, if the probability is constant, then c times n is equal to 1, that means it must be equal to 1 by n. So, in the second part, probability of ui will be equal to 1 by n for I is equal to 1 to n. Now, you are asked to calculate probability of un given w. So, we can apply Bayes theorem here, then it becomes probability of w given un into probability of un w given ui into probability of ui I is equal to 1 to n. in the nth urn there are n white balls. So, the probability will be n by n plus 1 and these are all 1 by n divided by sigma. In the ith urn you have I white balls. So, the probability will be I by n plus 1 and the probability of ui is 1 by n, I is equal to 1 to n. So, this becomes simply n divided by sigma I is equal to 1 to n, that is n divided by n into n plus 1 by 2, that is equal to 2 divided by n plus 1. So, the probability that the nth urn was chosen given that there is a white ball is 2 divided by n plus 1. Now, in the third part, what is the probability of E? What is the event E? That an even numbered urn is selected. So, that will become equal to sigma probability of u 2 I is equal to 1 to m, if I assume n is equal to 2 m. So, that is becoming m divided by 2 m, that is half. So, if we consider probability of W intersection E, then that is equal to sigma probability of W intersection U 2 I is equal to 1 to m. So, again we can apply the multiplication rule, probability of W given U 2 I into probability of U 2 I is equal to 1 to m. In the 2ith urn there are 2 I white balls. So, that becomes 2 I divided by 2 m plus 1. The probability of u 2 I is 1 by 2 m, I is equal to 1 to m. So, this is simply the sum of first m number. So, it becomes 1 by m into 2 m plus 1 sigma I, that is m into m plus 1 by 2. So, this is easily simplified, it is m plus 1 divided by 2 into 2 m plus 1. So, if I calculate probability of W given E, that is equal to probability of W intersection E divided by probability of E, then that is equal to m plus 1 divided by 2 m plus 1, that is equal to n plus 2 divided by twice n plus 1. I have put n is equal to 2 m here. There is another problem. An experiment has 10 equally likely outcomes. Let A and B be two non-empty events of the experiment. Let A have 4 elements. That means out of these 10 equally likely outcomes, 4 belong to A, they are favorable to A. If A and B are independent, how many elements can be in B? So, if I use the notation NE to be the number of elements in E, then we are having ns, that is the number of elements in the sample space is 10 and na is given to be 4. Now, A and B are independent, so probability of A intersection B will be equal to probability of A into probability of B. Since the items are equally likely, the outcomes, so therefore we can apply the classical definition n of A intersection B divided by n of S, that is equal to n of A divided by n of S, n of B divided by n of S. We can substitute the values here, n of A intersection B. So, these two ns are there, into n of S is equal to n of A into n of B. Now, n of S is 10, this is 4. So, if I take n of A intersection B to be 2 and n of B to be 5, then the two sides are equal. Similarly, if I take n of B equal to 10 itself, that means all elements are there, then n of A intersection B will become 4 because A has 4 elements. So, this will become 40 and this side will become 40. So, only possible values of NB can be 5 or 10. If n of B is 5, then n of A intersection B must be equal to 2, and if n of B is equal to 10, then n of A intersection B is equal to n of A, that is equal to 4. In this problem, the peculiar thing that you note here is that we have actually used the number of terms, or you can say favorable number of outcomes to an event here, that is explicitly used here. Although in many problems we have done that is we have calculated the favorable number of cases, but in this particular problem we have used an explicit notation for that, and that is used for solving the problems. So, in this particular course I have devoted enough time on explaining the basic concepts of probability, which includes the conditional probability, Bayes theorem, the theorem of total probability, the concept of independence, as well as we have also briefly touched upon the concept of random variables. Out of that we have devoted some time to the discrete random variables, especially the binomial distribution, and we have also looked at the concept of the mean or the average value or the expectation, the variability of the distribution in terms of variance, and the standard deviation. In order to properly do justice to this part, it will be better if you also have done the permutations and combinations, because in some of the problems they have been used.